नीट में तो खराब रिजल्ट आया, आप क्या करेंगे बेटा? इसके बाद का क्या प्लान है? यू नीड टू टेल अस योर नेक्स्ट प्लान। हैड नो विजन। बेटा ओपन द डोर। इसके बाद का क्या प्लान है? यू नीड टू टेल अस योर नेक्स्ट प्लान। डोर। आप क्या करेंगे बेटा? यू नीड टू टेल अस योर नेक्स्ट प्लान। नो विजन। बेटा ओपन द डोर।
From the outside, it looks like a purpose, a dream with a direction and prestige. What they don't see is the cost, the pressure, the guilt, the silent breakdowns behind closed doors. For many aspiring doctors, this journey starts long before college and how it slowly starts to take toll. So we spoke to a few of these students to find out what it's really like. Why did you choose medicine? And if you hadn't, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
There has been like a part of me that does like being a doctor, or at least idealize the thought of me becoming a doctor. Obviously that was one big part of it, but there was also, I'm not gonna lie, there was a big part of parental pressure.
My parents wanted me to do medical. I had no choice. I was also dumb because I didn't explore my choices. Now I'm feeling I should have explored better and known better about what are the professions out there. The education system showcases only doctor, engineer as a proper career.
I like taking care of people. I think medicine in general has a very human aspect to it. It's a very selfless thing. I honestly can't imagine doing anything other than medicine. If I had to choose something else, it would probably be something at least medicine adjacent.
It was something that was imposed on me from my childhood that stayed in my head a lot, and at one point it was like, okay, I want to do this, but later as I grew old, I realized that this is not something I want to do. I think my parents thought that it's a very prestigious thing to do. Like being a doctor is very, like everybody looks up to you if you're a doctor.
Since this pressure to perform doesn't only just affect their marks, but it also seeps into their friendships, their sleep, their confidence, and their identity. Most just keep going because that's what's expected, but not everyone knows how to ask for help. How has the pressure to score well affected your mental health or friendships?
It is a very, very difficult exam to prepare for. A lot of it was trying to figure out what to do in the first place, and then also balancing that along with things that you're doing in school and extracurriculars and things like that. So overall it was really difficult. I was constantly stressed, I was constantly anxious because I didn't know what was going to happen.
I will be honest, before the whole COVID thing happened, right, my initial plan was to write NEET. That was definitely like a bit stressful in the sense that my dad would be behind me, like, oh, don't forget, you have to prepare this, that, blah, blah, blah. And like nobody cared about what I wanted to do, but I actually genuinely wanted to write the exam. So in that way, I was very grateful for COVID because I didn't actually have to write it to get into med school.
For me, it was that parents wanted me to get a good college and do MBBS itself. So there was a lot of pressure. My parents didn't tell me like, you have to do this. It was like they assumed that I could do it, that I'm very smart, that I can do it as if it's a piece of cake. Because they were thinking like that, it was like, okay, now I can't disappoint them, I have to do this.
Before we go ahead, we just want to remind you that it's okay to feel lost. But remember, there's always someone willing to listen to you. Or you could always reach out to Rocket Health and speak to one of our expert therapists.
Did getting into college feel like an achievement, or did it bring a whole new set of challenges?
No, because of what everyone else was telling me, I thought getting into medical school was the end all be all. But I got into medical school and it itself was quite difficult. Things that you learn in, say, months in the 12th grade, all of that content in like a matter of like 2 or 3 days in medical school. You also had to kind of figure out how to balance such a huge amount of content, because I think medical school in itself is not difficult, but the amount of content that is kind of shoved at you is the most difficult part. So no one really prepared me. Everyone always says that college is going to be the best years of your life.
I definitely underestimated how difficult I would find uni, and then when I actually got there, I was just like, shit, I need to survive 5 years of this. School never ends at 5 years. You need to keep studying for the rest of your life. So there's also that thought. It's like, oh shit, man, I'm never going to stop doing this. I'm never going to stop studying. When can I finally take a break?
Yeah, sometimes you would fall into the space like, yes, this is very tiring, but at the end of the day, it's a decision you made. At some point, you will be rewarded for it. It's the hard work you put in. Competition in college is definitely more exhausting than NEET because competition in friends, competition in how you present yourself to the society, competition in how your impression is towards people.
There is a lot of competition, but it's a very unseen kind of competition because there are a lot of people. Not everyone there after getting into the college wants to compete with each other. At the end of the day, you have to become a doctor who can treat patients. People are competitive when it comes to having chances, getting to learn things better, getting close to a lot of seniors so they help you out. There is a competition there, but that's not gonna like affect you that much like NEET preparation, because here it's just like career deciding step, right? It's not the same thing.
Initially when I like joined the college, it was all like, okay, it's fine, it'll go well, it's okay, I've joined it, so now that's the big part. But as you start experiencing going to hospital and talking to the patients, it hits you that you have to do this, otherwise somebody might die.
Most people see sleepless nights, the textbooks, the exams, and they call it hard work. But what they don't see is how it affects your mind. The self-doubt that creeps in when you fall behind, the feeling that no matter how much you do, it'll never be enough. What starts as academic stress slowly becomes personal, changing the way you feel about yourself. Has the pressure ever left you feeling burnt out or doubting your own abilities?
The biggest thing that you will feel in medical school is imposter syndrome, because when you go to medical school, you're kind of with so many intelligent people. You kind of start questioning whether you're meant to be there or it's worth you being there. Everyone else just seems to be so much smarter, or everyone else just seems to be so much more capable and just better at so many other things than you are. But then you go to medical school and suddenly you're just average, and I feel like it hits you like a truck.
Burnout depends upon how much stress do you take during a process, because not the whole time during the course you're just studying or you're always doing something practical, but you're not preparing for exams. The most burnout any person gets is during dealing with this very difficult schedules when you have like major postings like surgery, medicine, or when you're having exams. Exams is one time when any medico burns out and they just lose themselves in that loop. They just get into stressing, not reading, stressing, not reading.
I don't obviously know how other unis work, but for me, my college gave us close to zero support in terms of, study support or mental health or any kind of support. So that was itself also a very difficult time navigating. So it's like, when you fail a class, when you fail a subject, you're like, shit, am I that bad? And let's be honest, like most students that go to med school were straight A students in school. So it's like when you fall behind in uni, it was like, oh shit, man, I'm actually such a terrible student. It was so bad, like, and especially like the imposter syndrome hits in. You're just like, I don't belong here. All these people are so smart, they're doing so well. Why am I the only one finding it so difficult to pass an exam?
The course MBBS is very expensive in India. So is it valuable enough to spend so much time, so much investment into a certain thing? Definitely will question your worth or your time. At the end of the day, time is something you can't buy. And towards your journey as a doctor, one thing is certain is you are going to spend a lot of time, and you can't expect anything in return.
If you could talk to your younger self, how would you convince them it's all worth it?
I think my younger self was a bit of a coward to not really go against my parents' wishes. And, I would definitely tell her to fight, stand up for yourself. You're, stronger than you think you are.
My younger self to not adjust to what people are asking you of you. So I would tell her to stand up and tell that whatever they're asking from you is not what you want all the time.
Take time to reflect on everything that you've achieved and everything that you've done. Actually think about how far you've, pushed yourself. Appreciate yourself and give yourself credit where credit is due, that you will be fine. You will find ways to cope and find ways to get through any challenges, and you're more than capable of doing that. And no matter what obstacle that you face, you will be able to make it through. So don't worry about it, is what I tell them.
We often admire the determination of future doctors, but we rarely ever ask them what it costs. Behind this ambition are silent struggle, pressure-packed days, and moments of doubt that no one really talks about. This path demands more than just effort. It asks for your emotional and mental strength every single day. So maybe it's high time we listened, not just to the success stories, but the ones still struggling to get there.